Long time bullshitter, first time storyteller. I think of it every time I hear the song. I made them play it at least 20 times that night. There's something comforting about the repetition. I don't even know if I like the song, but I think I do today. But all I have to hear is the first two beats. Dim, dim, and I'm transported back. It's 3 a.m., Saturday night, summer of 1992. Sophie B. Hawkins' Damn, I Wish I Was Your Lover is on repeat. But no one's complaining though. Play it, I insist. Now, the song's subject has no significance for the story I'm about to tell you, other than it's the trigger, every time. There I am, sopping wet, and in the backseat all over again. My buddies and I had driven up from Akron to hit the flats. We're in our 20s and still calling each other by our nicknames. It's Wheeze, and Weenar, and Morning Wood, and Karis, and Tim T-Bone Higgins, my best friend since high school, and me, who's amassed the largest swath of nicknames, but for tonight it's simply Goods. Typical summer night out. Beers and shots at Jimmy's, and skipping the line at the basement up the semi-secret side entrance to the second floor. A few more rounds, and we're downstairs and up on those washer and dryers they have alongside the dance floor. Every last one of us. Up there dancing, singing, shouting, until closing time. Maybe a few of us hook up with some girls along the way. Maybe not. On this night, no one does. And some of the crew is straight up surly. Weenar, who drove, by the way, shouts, "Let's go see the ladies." Karis, Morning Wood, Wheeze, yes! And off to Tiffany's Cabaret we go. They do this knowing that T-Bone and I aren't in. So when we drive, we shut that shit down. It's just not our thing, never has been. Now, I'm not here to judge you if it's your thing. I'm just telling you it's not what I'm about. And T-Bone and I have always been the same way like that. It's not even one of the many other things we share that have made him my brother from another mother since we were 15. So I have brothers, so does Bone. But T-Bone and I are the brothers we would have chosen if you got to pick your family. He's so family to me, and my sister will attest to this, that I swear he's actually my mom's favorite. True story. So we get to Tiffany's, and the boys head inside. T-Bone and I stick to our convictions and decide to hang out at the adjacent deck by the river. It's a warm summer night. We're at least 38 sheets to the wind. So why not just chill out and enjoy the weather? Well, this is when I eyeballed that huge mountain of gravel on the other side of the river. Me, how hilarious would it be if when they come out, we're sitting on the top of that gravel pile laughing at them? T-Bone, and he really has this voice. That would be funny, Goods. Now, there's some drunk logistics in here for sure. Like, how in the world would they hear us, much less notice us from across the river? But I assure you, it all made total sense that night and in that moment. T-Bone, there's no way you'll jump in the river, Goods. No way. This would be a pretty good time to tell you a little bit about how I grew up, my heritage, and this rare gene I have. First off, I grew up poor, dirt poor. I'm talking not enough food in the house poor, not, I still have the iPhone 4S poor. I was constantly being told I can't have something or that I could not be something. And I've developed this predisposition to resistance and proven someone wrong. My lineage also plays into this. You see, my dad is full-blooded Native American, and we were born to resist. My mom is also half, so there's defiance there too. Now, the other half is French, so I also harbor a slight but frequent need to surrender. Mostly to wine and bread, but still. Resistance is definitely the dominant trait. It's ingrained, so much so that it's called actually the Lytel gene. It's more commonly referred to as the "oh yeah, fuck you" gene. The second part of that is devolved over time into kind of a curt head nod and a smirk like this, "oh yeah." So go ahead, tell me I either have to do something or that I definitely can't or seriously shouldn't. What I'm trying to say is whether environmental or genetic, the reaction is strong and it's swift. Its ramifications at different points in my life could be the subject of an entirely different story altogether. And it definitely played into what happened next at the river that night. Speaking of the river, as Clevelanders, Many of us know that the Cuyahoga got its name from Native Americans and means crooked river. It's had a great influence on my people, drawing them here as early as 200 BC, and it definitely drew me there that night, and I was definitely under the influence. Another fun little fact. Did you also know it's illegal to jump in? Well, it is. That's due in part to the fact that several people had drowned in the river in the 90s, including what I later learned was a guy exactly 3 weeks later, right from the spot where we were standing. He was out there celebrating his 21st birthday. So, where was I? Oh yeah, he won't do it. Oh yeah? So, let's go. I'm in. Now, T-Bone has his genius idea of taking out our wallets and IDs and stashing them under the steps under the deck, in case we get caught and they can't arrest us, he insists. He also has on these big-ass combat boots that he doesn't want to lose, so he suggests we tie our shoes extra tight so they don't come off when we dive in. Well, we give it one last look around. The river's pretty quiet, no noticeable boat traffic at that time of night, and we take running leaps. Me first, then him. Headed toward that gravel pile on the other side. Diving in, I remember the water being warmer than I thought it would be, but still cool. Refreshing even. No current like some people say. It was almost like diving into a pool. So I'm a pretty strong swimmer, and I get about halfway across and I look back. T-Bone's trailing. He flops over on his back and seems to be doing some sort of lazy backstroke. And something looks kind of off. He's moving really slow. It's almost cartoonish. It's ridiculous. And then he slips under, like the Titanic in the movie. Feet first, and then head. It's those fucking boots. They've filled up with water, and now they're like anchors. He comes back up, flops back on his back, but still slow strokes, and I can tell now he's struggling. I double time it back to him. Just as he starts to go down again, I grab him by the back of the shirt, and I wrench him over my shoulder. He's a load, and he's kind of sloshing about. And now I'm the one that's struggling. Really struggling. That's when I make out something small and white ahead in the water. I'm blurry, but it looks to be a buoy. And if I can get us there, maybe we can hang on long enough for someone to notice us. It's a stretch, but I go for it. Side stroking, T-Bone draped over my shoulder. But by now he's out. I mean, this guy's dead weight. And I exert every bit of energy I have to get us to this buoy. And I reach out, and I swipe at it with my free hand, but it isn't a buoy. It's a piece of styrofoam. And it ricochets off my fingertips and shoots across the water. We're in the middle of the river now. I know we're not gonna make it across or back. And I'm treading water, and it's too much. I don't know how much longer I can keep us afloat, and I start to panic. And it's at this moment I do something I thought I never could, ever. I let go of my brother to save myself. And I watch as he sinks quietly under the water, and he's gone. Now, I have no sense of time, but it's probably only a second or two. And I don't know if I can live with myself or what life is like without my best friend. So I dive under. And I'm lucky to connect and retrieve him. And I get us both above water for a moment or two, but my arms and legs are like concrete right now. We have been treading water now for quite some time. I can't do it. And I resigned to just give up. I can't let him go, and I can't keep this up much longer. So, still holding on to my brother, I stop. And I'll never forget the image of the light just above the surface as I looked up and we sank beneath it. Or the feeling of the water gradually getting cooler as we went further down into the river. As my breath runs out, a survival instinct kicks in, and I make one last desperate effort, and I break the surface. Now, I don't know if you believe in God or you're spiritual in any way, but at that exact moment, a boat goes by, and I call out. They throw out a line and pull us in. They toss Bone up on the back of the boat, and he flops there like a walleye they just reeled in. They start CPR on him right there, compressing his chest, blowing into his mouth. They're really working him, and I'm desperate. He can't die. And then, just like in the movies, He suddenly spits out water, makes a horrible croaking gasp, and starts to breathe. And what happens next is pure bone. It's like nothing ever happened. We make it. Same drunken idiot. I don't remember one face on the boat that night, and I wish I did, but they saved us, and they start turning the boat back to Tiffany's dock. In front of us now is this amazing light show. It was like a concert scene, enough apparently to even empty out Tiffany's. It was such a spectacle that I actually thought to myself, I wonder what that's all about. And it was a scene, except as we arrive at the dock, the lights are all flashing red and white. Dozens of vehicles though, fire trucks, ambulances, police cars, all in a semicircle on the dock waiting for us. We climb up, an EMS crew quickly moves on T-Bone. The cops go to me. And you know what? The ID trick actually pays off. I remember making up names and where we lived, and I have no idea what other brand of bullshit I was selling that night, but whatever I said worked. We would not be arrested. T-Bone, amazingly no worse for wear, would not go to the hospital. And our buddies, now gathered there, somehow come off as responsible and vouch that they would get us home safely. We head to the steps. I bend down nonchalantly, grabbing our wallets, and we all head toward the parking lot. As we reach the car, I give the highlights of just what happened. Rounds of what? And you're idiots come out of their mouths, but the look on our faces tell it all, and they drop it pretty quickly. I open the car door, I slump down. Drenched, drunk, the shock's wearing off. I'm shivering uncontrollably. The car starts, the song's ending. Play it again. Play it. Thanks.